Join me on a close look at the Gospel according to Matthew. In my Discord channel, I have listed 115 challenges to Matthew. But in this video, I want to share with you what we might call Matthew's top 10 failures. Number 10. Matthew 2:6 says the Messiah must be born in Bethlehem, in accordance with Micah 5:2. But in Micah 5:5 it says the one born in Bethlehem was going to be their peace when the Assyrians invaded their land. And that is what Hezekiah did. And the very first verse of Micah says he's talking about the days of Ahaz and Hezekiah. Number 9. Matthew 2 says that Jesus and his family fled to Egypt to avoid the threats of Herod, in order to fulfill the prophecy which said, "Out of Egypt I called my son." This is a quote from Hosea 11:1, which says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son." So this was a reference to Israel and not a prophecy about Jesus. Number 8. Matthew 2:23 says that when Jesus and his family returned to Israel, they chose to move to Nazareth in order to fulfill the prophecy that he would be a Nazarene. But there is no prophecy that even closely resembles this claim. Number 7. In Matthew 10:33, Jesus said, "If anyone denies me before men, I will deny him before my Father in heaven." But then Matthew 26:56 says all the disciples deserted Jesus in order to fulfill prophecy. So that must mean that Jesus is going to deny all his disciples before God. Number 6. In Matthew 10:37, Jesus said, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." And this is a clear violation of the command to honor your father and mother. And this condemns Jesus by his own words in Matthew 5:19. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Number 5. In Matthew 21:2, Jesus tells his disciples to go find a donkey and her colt, to untie them and bring them to me. So whoever wrote Matthew misunderstood what he was reading, and he said Jesus was riding on a donkey and her colt, while Zechariah, Mark, and Luke all understood it to be one colt of a donkey. Number 4. Matthew 27:9 says that Jeremiah's prophecy was fulfilled when they took the 30 pieces of silver and bought the potter's field. But Jeremiah never said anything about 30 pieces of silver in the potter's field. The author of Matthew was confused between Jeremiah and Zechariah 11. Number 3. Matthew 28:19 says to baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But we have quotes from Eusebius in the 4th century where he said, "Baptize in my name." So this verse was changed in the 4th century after Trinity became orthodox at the Council of Constantinople, along with the Athanasian Creed. Number 2. Matthew 1:23 says that prophecy was fulfilled by the miraculous virgin birth of Jesus. But if you will just read Isaiah 7 and 8, you will see that it is not about Jesus, it is not about a miraculous birth, and it was completely fulfilled in chapter 8. And now for what could be the biggest blunder. In Matthew 22:45, Jesus asked, "Why then did David call Messiah his Lord?" This is a misreading and a misapplication of Psalm 110 verse 1. Psalm 110 is a psalm to David, not by David. And verse 1 actually says, Yahweh said to Adon, and that Adon is a reference to David, because David was the king whom God had put all his enemies under his feet. So the entire book of Matthew is an example of plagiarism of previous writings, including Mark and Luke, followed by subsequent modifications and false application of prophecy in order to establish their false religion.